All right, welcome back into Pure Adrenaline Sports, everybody. We're gonna hop right in. We got a lot to get to today because we're doing a little bit of extra this week. We only got we have the power rankings, and we're gonna start talking about the CBA, the Collective Bargaining Agreement, right now after December 1st or December 2nd. I don't remember exactly what the date is. They don't have an agreement, so as of right now, there will not be baseball next year. So we'll start looking into that as well. We'll start doing more and more videos about that. But welcome in once again. If you don't agree with our power rankings, leave a message below. I appreciate all the comments that we get on these videos. So let's go. Miss Gina is here. We'll say hi to some folks here. Miss Gina's here saying let's go. And greetings, Mr. and Mrs. PAS. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you as well, Miss Gina. And Charles is here. What is up, Charles? Charles always checking in from paradise. Let's go. Charles asking everybody to hit that like button and sub it up. All right. We have a poll in the chat. Which National League team won't make the playoffs? Next week, we'll do the American League teams. But this week, I have the three teams from the National League. Right now, all three of those teams, the Phillies, Diamondbacks, and Padres, those three teams are tied for the final two spots. So one of them's going to miss out. Charles says he's doing well. Let's go. Hey, there's Leo. What's up, Leo? We're hot again. Let's go. All right, let's get into it because, like I said, we have a little bit extra to get into today with the CBA. We have graphics for that as well, but let's get into this week's power rankings. I'll say hello once I see somebody in the chat or answer a comment or question as well. But coming in at number 30, the A's again. This team is bad. Tons of injuries for this team this year. One more with Texas, then they have four with Kansas City and a weekend series next weekend with Houston. That Kansas City series should be interesting. Not to say that Oakland's going to move up out of the number 30 spot, but right now they are there 17th on offense, 27th in pitching, according to the PAS ranks. And they're dead last in ERA, runs allowed, home runs allowed, and second to last in most hits allowed. So, and you see their offense there, middle of the pack. Baseball can be a crazy game, right? I mean, just yesterday's Mets game, right? But let's keep climbing here. Coming in at number 29, the Kansas City Royals. Royals, one of those surprise teams for me. I did not expect them to be this bad. I did expect the Royals to be in the mix for a wild card spot this year. But yeah, it's definitely not 24 games under. One more with the Angels before four with the A's and three with Detroit. And right now, both offense and pitching not helping them out. Bottom five teams in almost every pitching category and all over the place on offense. 9th in stolen bases. So when they're getting on, they're taking advantage. 15th, middle of the pack there in average, but not scoring runs and not hitting home runs. Hey, Rising Rhino is here. What is up, Rhino? Roll that beautiful baseball footage. What is up, buddy? Guys, with NFL season coming, I say it all the time, every time he's in our chat. Make sure you are following or subscribed to Rising Rhino. Every weekend, the man is a machine when it comes to streaming. Like number Elway, let's go. I hope we get another great one today. Not to be greedy, but I'm rested and ready. Right? What a great win yesterday, right? But Rhino, let us also know what you got coming up today, if anything. Rhino's also finishing up the Canadian Football League before the NFL and college football start. The machine is disassembled today. There you go. All right, let's keep climbing here because once we get through the power rankings, we're going to talk a little bit about the CBA that expires in December here. Coming in at number 28, the Colorado Rockies, 4-6 over their last 10 as well. 6 on offense, dead last in pitching. One more with San Francisco, 3 with the Dodgers, and 3 with Cleveland, so not getting any easier. He says, I tagged myself. I saw that, but then I had to look to see if somebody else was stealing Rhino's name. But I saw. So the Rockies, once again, I don't know. Maybe next time they need to build the stadium out there, they build a dome. They build a dome. I don't know if that's going to help or not, but yeah, the Rockies, once again, 28th. Not good. Not good for Colorado. The Angels coming in at 27. They are 29th on offense, second to last, 14th in pitching. One more with Kansas City before 3 with Houston and 3 with Texas. Man, excuse me. You see offense there, 23rd on average, 24th in runs. Not good. Not good for the Angels. Remember, this team a few years ago had Ohtani and Trout. Let's keep climbing here. 26, the San Francisco Giants, 3-7 over their last 10 as well. 21 games under 500. Pitching, not good, but they've given up the fewest home runs. So that helps their ranking a little bit there at 19th. What's the unsponsored drink of choice today? Well, right now during the stream, going with a little hot beverage here with the hot chocolate. Hot chocolate, and then I got my Barks. I got my unsponsored Barks root beer for the game today. But yeah, San Francisco's got one more with Colorado, 3 with Cleveland coming up, and then 3 with Boston. So tough matchups there for San Francisco as well. Coming in at number 25, our New York Mets. Right now, even though they are hot, 7-3 over their last 10, actually 8-3 since the trade deadline. And that's what we said, right? We said we knew the playoffs weren't a possibility, but to get within a certain amount of games, and the Mets have gone from 15 games back out of a wild card spot. Now they're 11 games back. Let's start climbing a little bit more. There's another 4.5 games between them and the Nationals. So if they could beat the Nationals again today, it'd be down to 3.5 games to move up another spot. But then the Mets have some tough schedules coming up here as well. You see D grade on the rest of their remaining schedule. That's tough. One more with Washington today. Then they're home for 3 with San Diego and 3 next weekend with the White Sox. So that's going to be tough. But the Mets on offense, 25th overall and 12th pitching-wise. 12th pitching. No pumpkin spice latte. No pumpkin spice latte. Charles has got a Mountain Dew unsponsored. No pumpkin spice latte. That is how we say it. Coffee. Enjoying the ride while we can. Yeah. Yep. So we'll see how our Mets continue to fare here. Once again, Padres and White Sox coming up, so tougher schedule. It's not about, especially because we know this year's a lost season. You got to be respectable though. Don't get blown out 11-0. Show some fight, and we'll see. We'll see how they fare against San Diego. The Mets are home for that, and then in Chicago for that one. But the Reds, this is another surprising, disappointing team. 24th. The Reds were a playoff team last year. They're not going to make the playoffs this year either. They have a tough schedule left. Look at their opponent's winning percentage the rest of the way is .551. I mean, unbelievable. One more with the Marlins today, 4 with St. Louis, 3 with Arizona. So things not getting easier for the Reds either. Keep checking the comments here. Let me check. We'll wait till we get to number 20, and then we'll look at the poll in the chat. Coming up in at 23 this week, the Toronto Blue Jays. Toronto's playing much better. I believe Toronto's only a half game out of a playoff spot here in the American League. Yeah, but they'll be the poll next week. Right now, the Rangers have the third spot in the wild card in the American League. The Blue Jays, Orioles, and Tigers are all a half game back, and the Twins and Guardians are a game back. So six teams fighting for the last wild card spot there in the American League, because the Yankees and Red Sox have a pretty good commanding lead. The Red Sox are in second, have a 6-game lead over that last spot. So the Blue Jays, though, getting things turned around after a rough start. They are still struggling offensively, though. One more with the Yankees today. I actually think they're going for the sweep against the Yankees. Then they have 3 with Tampa Bay, and then 3 with the Yankees again. So Dallas is not happy with the Blue Jays. Yeah, I know. I see Dallas all the time in Fitzy streams. But Toronto, an easy schedule on paper. 481, an A grade there. I believe the Guardians have an A+ rating on their strength of schedule. But coming in at number 22 this week, the Seattle Mariners. I believe, even though they are 8 games under 500, I believe they're only 3 games out of a wild card spot. So the American League is wide open. Yep, 3 games out. And then after that, the Royals are 11, Angels 12, and the Athletics are 12.5. So a big drop off after the Mariners. I don't say much when I'm over there, Miss Gina. He still needs to get rid of somebody out of the chat, but he won't do it. So makes the chat not fun, if you ask me. But oh well, it's not my channel. But let's keep climbing here. Coming in at number 21, the Minnesota Twins, 4-6 over their last 10. They are 10th on offense, 26th pitching. 1 more with the Phillies. I believe the Phillies going for the sweep. Then 3 with Atlanta and 3 with San Diego, so things are getting tough. When I was there, he was there last night. But unless you're talking about when he was playing video games. But Minnesota coming in at number 21. Let's check the poll in the chat. We have 4 votes so far. Which team won't make the playoffs? 2 votes for the Phillies and 1 each for the Padres Diamondbacks. So we got a ton of people, not a ton of people watching, but we got more than 4 people watching. But let's keep climbing. Coming in at number 20 this week, the Texas Rangers, 5-5 over their last 10. Once again, the Rangers in that last wild card spot right now, but the Rangers are also only 2 games behind the Astros for the American League West. So quality over quantity, correct. Yeah, so let's see. 1 more with the A's, then a 3-game set with Washington, and 3 with the Angels. So very winnable games for Texas coming up as well. Cleveland Guardians, there they are, A+ rating the rest of the way. They're struggling over their last 10 now. 3-7. Yeah, don't start becoming like Frank, Miss Gina. 60-64 on the season. Cleveland right now 1 game out of the wild card spot, but where are they in their division? They are 5 back in the Central Division as well. Coming in at number 18, the Baltimore Orioles. Another disappointing season for this team. They have 2 more with Tampa Bay. Then they have the Yankees for 3 and Tampa Bay again for a weekend series next weekend. 22nd on offense, 23rd in pitching. Coming in at number 17, the Houston Astros. Once again, the Astros right now, they lead the division, right? The Astros, yeah, they have a 2-game lead in the West. And they have a fairly easy schedule on paper. 1 more with Seattle, then 3 with the Angels, and 3 with the A's. So very winnable games coming up for the Astros. Looking to expand that lead. We are almost to the halfway point here. The Washington Nationals right now 60 and 65, trying to avoid the sweep against our Mets today. The Mets, they I don't know why the Nationals went with a bullpen game yesterday. They're the guy that started the game for him didn't get out of the first inning without. They took him out with 2 outs in the inning, and he was at 40-something pitches. But then the next guy came in, had 4 innings of no-hit baseball. So, but then they had to dig deeper into that bullpen, and the Mets kept climbing in, and then won it in a walk-off fashion in the bottom of the ninth. But, yeah, look at the Nationals. Number 1 in offense. We kind of saw glimpses of that yesterday with a couple big home runs. But, yeah, then the pitching. We've seen the pitching, 28th, and we saw it yesterday. So we are halfway through. Once again, if you're watching on the replay, let us know your thoughts of 16 through 30. Let us know who doesn't belong there, who should be in the top 15, and then we'll get into the top 15 and who shouldn't be there. The Pittsburgh Pirates right now, 3-7 over their last 10. I know Dr. Delay's a little frustrated with their struggles as of late. Completely understandable. They were having a great season, still mathematically in it. What are they, 6.5 out of the wild card? Yeah, 6.5 out right now. So they have to jump a bunch of teams, and the schedule gets tough here. You got 1 more with Boston, 3 with Detroit, and 3 with the Dodgers. So, and I think Skeens was supposed to pitch today, and he got scratched, I think. But the remaining strength of schedule is in the middle of the pack there. Coming in at number 14, the St. Louis Cardinals. Once again, St. Louis 1 game above 500, 6-4 over their last 10. This was a team that got off to a hot start, was in our top 10 rankings at the beginning of the year. Then they've kind of fallen back, but now they're starting to climb back up. That young man made his debut yesterday and hit 3 home runs in his first 3 at-bats. They are 23rd on offense, 15th in pitching. 1 more with the Cubs today, 4 with the Reds, and then 3 with the Phillies. So tough matchups for the Cardinals coming up. But teams they need to be able to beat if they want to make the playoffs. That Red series should be tough, and then the Philly series. Phillies right now in one of those last spots. The Miami Marlins right now traded off pieces, and they've gotten better at the deadline. 63 and 61 here. 9th on offense, 8th in pitching. 1 more with the Reds, 3 with the Phillies, and then 3 with the Nationals. So all those teams that are fighting for the last couple spots starting to play each other here. Coming in at number 12, we are getting closer and closer to the top 10. The Padres, 7-3 over their last 10. 1 more with Cleveland. Then they come to New York to play our Mets for 3. Once again, that Wednesday game is a day game, so we'll be live for that. We're actually doing 2 games that afternoon. As long as there's no delay with the Mets and Padres, we'll go right from the Mets Padres to I believe it's Red Sox Orioles game. I'm going to start covering some more baseball here now that we're getting closer and closer to the playoffs. The Phillies coming in at number 11 right now, struggling, but they've won the first two against Minnesota to climb back into that number 2 National League wild card spot. Man, they got hot. They got within 2 games of Atlanta at one point, and they have fallen back. But like I said, they still have that number 2 spot in the wild card. Yeah, still 7.5 games behind Atlanta. And right now, they have the number 2 spot in the wild card. It was tied with Arizona and San Diego. So one of the teams is not making the playoffs. Unless for some reason the Cubs fall, because the Cubs have the number 1 spot. But let's get into this week's top 10, everybody. Arizona Diamondbacks, 6-4 over their last 10. 1 more with Atlanta, 3 with Boston, 3 with Cincinnati. So some tough matchups coming up. Their strength of schedule is right in the middle there with a C grade. 15th on offense, 20th in pitching. Don't get to watch too many Diamondbacks games, so I do not know if they've had any injuries. Let's take a look. Now that we're at number 10, let's just double check the poll. We have 5 votes, 40% for the Phillies and 40% for the Diamondbacks not making the playoffs. So the chat is split. Chat is split on that. All right, let's come back over and reveal the top 9 teams here. The Chicago White Sox right now sitting at number 9. They have a fairly easy schedule remaining. 1 more with Detroit, 3 with the Cubs, a makeup day against Atlanta on Thursday, and they are home for our Mets next weekend as well. We'll see if we cover all 3 games of that. Next weekend is Mrs. PAS's birthday, so I don't know what we have planned. Of course, we have dinner. We'll be going out for dinner and stuff, but we'll see what else. So the White Sox, that'll be a tough matchup for our Mets, and in Chicago too. So, and the White Sox a couple years ago set the record for the most losses in the season. We all thought it was strange when Murakami signed there in the offseason. But yeah, they've turned things around and fighting not only for the division but a playoff spot. The Detroit Tigers coming in at number 8, even though they're 3 games under. I'm not sure about that. How are they ahead of the White Sox when they're behind them in the standings and they're behind them in the rankings? Or not in the rankings, because I have them here at 8. But 1 more with the Sox today, 3 with Pittsburgh, 3 with Kansas City next weekend. Not sure why they're at number 8. Maybe run differential. Let me look. Yeah, but that shouldn't be that shouldn't be that big of a factor. So we'll take a look at Detroit and the White Sox to see why those rankings are way off. Coming in at number 7, the Boston Red Sox right now, 14th on offense, 3rd in pitching, all without Crochet. 1 more with Pittsburgh, 3 with Arizona, 3 with San Francisco. So tough matchups come. The tough 3-game set, I should say, with Arizona. And then it looks like they are home for San Francisco next weekend. All right, coming in at number 6 this week, the Yankees sitting at 68-55. 1 more with Toronto before an off day tomorrow. 3 with Baltimore. And then 3 with Toronto again next weekend. The Yankees, 16th on offense without Judge. The Yankees are still 2nd in home runs without Judge. But yeah, look at their pitching. Second, we have them as the second-ranked pitching staff in baseball. First in ERA, second in fewest runs, third in fewest hits. So top 10 in every category, if not top 5. Speaking of top 5, let's get into this week's top 5. The Tampa Bay Rays, 8-2 over their last 10. They have 2 more with Baltimore, 3 with Toronto, and then another 3 with Baltimore again. So Tampa Bay could really put in a kink in Toronto and Baltimore's playoff hopes here coming up this week. But Tampa Bay is 4th overall on offense, 11th in pitching. And just this team just never goes away. Every year we expect Tampa Bay to maybe take a step back, and it does not happen. All right, let's get into this week's top 4. Once again, then we'll be taking a little look at the CBA coming up, some of the proposals that we've gotten back and forth already. But coming in at number 4, the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs are 7-3 over their last 10. How are they close in the division? Are they close in the division? Yes, they are only 4 games back. They are only 4 games back to the division in a firm grip on that number 1 National League wildcard spot. But on paper, their schedule is tough. They have an F grade there. 1 more with St. Louis, 3 with the White Sox, and then 3 with Seattle. So we'll see. They are, what do we say? They are 4 back. So next week we'll check. They are 4 back in the division, and in the wild card standings, they have a 6-game lead there. So we'll keep an eye on that next week with this tough schedule. Coming in at number 3 this week, the Atlanta Braves. Atlanta just if this team stays healthy, this team is always in contention. Number 3, tough matchups the rest of the way for them, but their offense is 8th, pitching is 6th. 1 more with Arizona before 3 with the Twins, 1 with the White Sox for one of the makeup games, and 3 with Milwaukee. So a nice weekend series there. Hey, Sean is here. What is up? I'll let her know. I'll let her know you guys are saying happy birthday to her. But coming in the top 2 here this week, the Dodgers still at number 2. The Dodgers still at number 2 this week. I believe they have split the series here this weekend with Milwaukee so far. So game 3 is this afternoon. But the Dodgers, 5th on offense, 4th in pitching. Then they have a series coming up against the Rockies and the Pirates. So very winnable series for the Dodgers coming up. They might be, depending on what Milwaukee does. We'll look at Milwaukee's schedule here. Maybe the Dodgers hop into that number 1 spot again. All right. That means the Milwaukee Brewers are in that number 1 spot. 1 more with the Dodgers, 3 with Seattle, and then 3 next weekend with Atlanta. That'll be tough. Look at Milwaukee, 7th on offense, 1st in pitching. The only thing they don't do is hit home runs. They are dead last in home runs. But you don't need to hit home runs when you're 5th in scoring. You're scoring other ways. Look at stolen bases are 5th. So, unbelievable. I'm honestly surprised that somebody has caught up to the Dodgers. The Dodgers had a fairly significant lead, but that 7 or 8 game losing streak, whatever it was, is what did it for them. So we'll keep an eye on these 2 teams. Even Atlanta, we'll keep an eye to see if Atlanta can jump these 2 teams back. Let's see what their 3 games, 2.5 games. The Braves are 2.5 games record-wise behind Milwaukee for the best record in baseball. So, once again, we will keep an eye on that. But that was this week's top MLB Power Rankings, everybody. Thank you all so much for hanging out during that. Leave a comment about the rankings. We're going to have a little bit different segment here to wrap this one up. We have the CBA coming up, everybody. So let's start looking at some of the things we have with that right now. The MLB owners have proposed a hard salary cap at $245 million. Teams can't get a hard cap means you can't go over, with a floor of $171.2 million. So that would mean a lot of teams would have to up their salaries as well. Yes, here you go. You can see it stops the extremes, narrows the payroll gap, more competitive balance. This is not exact numbers, but this is kind of like the NFL does. I don't know about the other sports, but this is like the NFL does. The NFL has a hard cap, and then they have a floor as well, where you have to spend so much money. But they share a lot of the TV revenue as well. So I would imagine that is part of this as well. So let's look at some of the other things. Collective bargaining agreement. It's their agreement on money, how the money is divided up between ownership and Players Association. Right now, here's the difference in the proposals. We saw the MLB proposal there with the 245 hard cap and the floor, 50-50 on the revenue split. They're proposing. Where the Players Association doesn't want a hard cap at all, so continue letting the Dodgers, Mets, Toronto, whoever wants, spend whatever they want. No, I don't think I don't agree with the players. I think it's bad for baseball if you keep going down the road you're on. Right now, the tax is that they want it raised to $300 million. I'm sorry. As a sports fan, you need to have a cap and a floor. You need to have both. Minimum salaries, the owners are proposing $900,000 to $1 million. The players want a minimum of $1.5 million. Qualifying offers, that is when a guy becomes a free agent, and if he signs with another team, the team that signed that player has to give up a draft pick. The MLB wants to eliminate the qualifying offer. So it looks like they're agreeing on that. I don't understand the 5 years of service thing for free agency. The MLB is proposing a limit on contract length, 5 years on a new team, 6 years if you're re-signing with your own team, where the players don't want a new length. So like a couple years ago when the Mets signed Juan Soto, what'd they give him? A 15-year deal? Like, the owners don't want that anymore. Of course, the players want that. But honestly, if I'm looking, people are saying, "Oh, you're siding with billionaires as compared to millionaires." Yeah, I am siding with the billionaires because the player. There's no limit. There's going to be a point where fans are going to lose interest if you keep going down the same road. Deferred compensation, the owners are willing to get rid of it, and the players want to keep it. No, it's bad for baseball. Look at the Dodgers right now. The Dodgers right now have over $1 billion in deferred money. I mean, come on. You got to get rid of that because other people will say, you know what? I'm just going to go play with the Dodgers to win a championship. No, you can't have that. You can't have the top 5 teams ruining the sport. And the Mets are one of those financially. The Mets need to be reined back in here. They have not done a good job of spending money. They've spent the money, but they have not done it well. So, Expanding rosters, yes. Expanding rosters to 28 as compared to 26. That gives a couple extra players. Yeah, it forces the low spenders to spend. But I think we'll get into it here. They're like, well, how are teams going to do that if they don't have the revenue sharing? Well, I think that's part of the new rule for the players, for the floor, that the TV money will be a bigger split. Where the Dodgers, I don't think the Dodgers pay anything in TV revenue right now to the other clubs. Right now, 8 teams that would have to cut payroll to get under the $245 million. Look, the Dodgers would have to cut $158 million. Our Mets would have to cut almost $112. The Yankees, $90 million. The Blue Jays, $37. The Phillies, $32. The Red Sox would have to cut as well. The Padres. Now the Braves aren't too bad, $2.9 million. They could probably find that. Yeah, $578 million combined that would have to be cut. So look at, the Mets, $111 million they would have to shed off of their payroll. I don't. Look at the Dodgers payroll, $403.7 million. And our Mets are at 357. And right now, look, the Dodgers are fighting for the best record in baseball, and the Mets are in the top 5 in next year's MLB draft right now. Just because you spend it doesn't mean you're spending it wisely. All right, raising the floor. What does that mean? Right now, the current MLB salary is $780,000 a year, and the Players Association want that raised almost doubled, $1.5 million. More, yeah. Here you go. More money for younger players. Yeah, nearly twice the current minimum. Yep. 780 to 1.5. So we'll see. I don't think that's an issue if you ask me. All right. MLB proposal focus on getting players paid sooner. The current system right now, your draft are signed. Then you go to the minor leagues, make your debut, and then you start accruing service time. The first 2 years are pre-arbitration years, where the team controls your salary. But then after when you arbitration years, you could either agree to a salary with the team, or you literally go in front of a judge and to see what the arbitration numbers would be. You have to prove if you're a player. You have to prove why you should be paid what you're asking for. And after 6 years, the players can reach free agency. So right now they want to raise that. They want to raise it to 1.5 here. Earlier arbitration for 2 to 3 years instead of 2 to 6 years. And an earlier free agency, 30-plus players can reach free agency after 5 years of service. There you go. So, let's see here. In terms of our Mets, like Benj and Ewing right now, this would be year 1. So the Mets would control their arbitration for the next 2, this year and next year. And the players want it where it's only 1 more year before they get arbitration. They want it 2 to 3 years instead of 2 to 6 years. Because right now, do we think Ewing and Benj right now are playing more than their minimum salary? I do. But right now the Mets control it, so the Mets are making out there. And I'm not going to pretend like I know all the ins and outs to this. I just when it comes to me, I want to make sure there's baseball next season. That's all I care about. But these are some of the things that the owners and players are continuing to fight over. Two different visions. Once again, the owners are proposing a $245 million hard salary cap, where the MLB Players Association is going $300 million threshold. Right now, I think it's $225 million, where if a team spends over $225, they have to pay X amount. If they spend over $250, it's another percentage, and the players want that raised to $300. I do not think that's a good idea. I think that helps the higher paid players. I do not think that helps the lower paid players. Yeah, and that's the thing, Miss Gina. It's billionaires fighting with millionaires, honestly. All right, the lockout timeline. Here's what happens. The collective bargaining agreement expires on December 1st at 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. So if there's no agreement in place, there cannot be, after that date, there cannot be any free agency. Yeah, no trades, no free agency, no player transactions, no player or club communication. So everything freezes. Everything's on hold. And then, then you start looking ahead. Okay, well, if there's nothing in place, then what happens? Well, February 1st, spring training approaches. We always get pitchers and catchers reporting about February 12th, 13th, in that range. So you start getting worried. If you're not reporting to spring training, you're going to start missing spring training games, which is going to be an issue. And then March 27th is opening day. So if we get the spring training and there's no if there's no agreement, are they going to push? Will that push back the start of the regular season if they don't get the spring training on time? And then if they do get to March 27th and there's no CBA, how much time are we going to actually miss? And here's the thing. A December lockout does not automatically mean games are canceled, but the longer it lasts, the greater risk to the 2027 season. Yeah. So we will keep an update on this. Anytime I see any new information, I will either post a short video like this, letting us know. Now they've agreed to some of. I'll have to go back and look. They've agreed to some of the things that they're fighting back and forth on. So things have started to come together, but it's not been, and it'll depend on how many years it is too. Audience poll: what's best for baseball? What do you guys think? If you're watching on the replay, let us know your thoughts. What do you think's better? A cap, a hard salary cap, and a minimum floor, or no cap at all and just keep doing the way things are doing? Me personally, no right or wrong answer. Honestly, you can feel however you like. I think the cap and floor is the way to go. I think it's helped football over the years. I don't know. I don't follow the other sports closely enough to know what their salary cap structures are, the NBA and stuff in the NHL. So I don't know what those are like, if they have a cap and a floor as well. But no cap, I do not think no cap is the way to go. Even as a Met fan, even though we have an owner that is willing to spend millions upon millions, I think for the love of the game, there needs to be a cap and a floor. And right now, I think they need to get it figured out, because right now baseball has moved back into the number 2 popularity sport here in the U.S. So, and it's continuing to grow as well. So you don't want to lose that, because if you remember the '94 strike, it took the steroid era to bring fans back, the home run race and all that. So thank you, everybody, for listening to me talk about money that I know nothing about, honestly. But we'll be back live next week for Power Rankings again. We'll see if there's any updates on any of these negotiations as well. It's still Sunday here 12:45 Eastern time. We'll be live at 1:30 Eastern time for Mets and Nationals. Our Mets going for the 3-game sweep here this weekend, getting things turned around after the trade deadline, 8-3. Looking to start off the homestand on a 3-game winning streak. But thank you all once again. Leave a comment. Let me know where I'm way off base, whether it be on the power rankings or whether it be on the CBA talk. And, like I said, hopefully we get some more of this information coming down, and we will see everybody next time. Thanks again, everyone.